Welcome once again to Crick Buzz Chatter on the eve of yet another test match. We've talked so much about this test match. So much has happened about this series, rather. We've seen the highs of Lords. We've seen the dramatic descent into Leeds. And we can't get the smile of Michael Vaughan's face as he heads off to London for the test match. It's still 1-1, though, by the way, in spite of all that's happened. And now we've got two to play. Michael, the series couldn't have been better placed at the end of three test matches.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Ashes here in 2019. It's also very similar to what happened at Headingley in 2019, where Ben Stokes produced an incredible performance. On this occasion, the whole team of England produced an incredible performance. It's 1-1-2 to play. You watch a lot of Indian cricket, as I do. I watch lots of English Test match cricket. Never quite sure what to get in terms of their consistency levels, but I just get a sense with this England side that Chris Woakes back into the camp, a very experienced pro, particularly in English conditions. No Josh Buttler, he hasn't been in great form, so I don't think that will have a massive effect on the side. I think Ollie Pope will come in. I get a feeling that, and I hope I'm wrong because I want to see two tight games, but it's a little bit like deja vu for India in England. They've started the last two series very confidently, won a game, and then towards the end of the tour, they started to slip away. I hope I'm proven wrong. I did back India at the start of the series. I still feel they've got a better group of Test match players, but they seem to be on that slippery slope that they found themselves on the last two trips, and somehow they've got to try and win that first game on first day on Thursday. To do so, they'll be back in the series.
There's something about the Oval, though. Spinners tend to take wickets a little fast. I know why Michael's smiling, because he was trying to trend the hashtag, let's bring back Ashwin. I have no doubt at all that Ashwin will be back for this one. The question is, for whom, and therefore how many changes do India make? I think they're sweating a little bit on Jadeja's fitness. They're waiting for the results of those scans. So my gut feel is everybody being available. Ashwin and Jadeja played three quicks, go back to the form, the team that played at the World Test Championship final. The question is, do they do something about the batting? Now, Rahane has been good in the past, a little inconsistent. Pujara is just starting to find form. Kohli is struggling a little bit. Do they go with the same batting lineup? Do they play six batsmen? What would you do? Six batsmen plus keeper at seven? What would you do?
I don't think they can go with the same batting lineup. I think it's exactly what England would want to see. And you look at what England did for Headingley. They changed the batting lineup. Malan came in. Haseeb went to the top of the order. I just think you have to make those changes when a bowling unit, particularly in a long series, gets so used to having the wool over a player's eyes. It doesn't mean that Rahane won't play Test match cricket again, but I think sometimes it's worth taking those kind of players out of the firing lineup just for a game or two and bringing some fresh blood in, some fresh minds. Whether they'll do that, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not too sure whether they'll pack the batting and play extra batters, but Ashwin will play. It's Ashwin and then the other 10. In my eyes, Ashwin has to play. And, I think his all-round quality, actual swing plays quite a big part at the Oval. I mean, you talk his spin, but he can swing around at the Oval. You have to bowl that full of length. You have to entice the drive. I'm sure Bumrah will play, Shami, and then it's kind of mixing the rest around. I mean, Mayan Agarwal is a player that I really like. Whether they can find him a position in the order, I know Vihari's been mentioned. He's got a really good first-class record, but I do think Harsha India do need to make a change in that batting lineup. If they go out with the same set of seven at the top, I don't think England.
I mean, the options for India, if you want to replace number 5, is Hanuma Vihari. He's got a Test 100. But he's only played one Test match at home. He's played all his Test matches away. He's averaging sort of early 30s. Do you want to open with Mayank Agarwal, bring KL Rahul back in the middle order? But he's played so well in his first 3 innings at the top of the order. So the reason I keep coming back to this is that India went into the third test seemingly impregnable, seemingly having ticked off all the boxes, and now all those changes. My gut feel is Ishant will get rested. He seemed to be struggling a little bit. Whether they'll go with Shardul Thakur, whether they'll go with Umesh Yadav, whether they're wondering if Bumrah and Shami have already done a lot of bowling, keep one of them fresh for the test match in Manchester. We'll have to wait and see along on those fronts. What about England, though? There's one change for sure with England, which is that Josh Butler's gone. So Johnny Bairstow comes back in. Do they play Ollie Pope or Dan Lawrence? Whether the new batsman comes in at 6 or 5, but that's a minor issue. And does Vokes come in straight for Curran? What about Anderson? He already bowled too much. Keep him fresh for Manchester.
Harsh, you can talk Jimmy Anderson not playing as much as you want, but I'm pretty sure he'll be playing.
Is he going? Is he going and telling Joe Root, "You're not dropping me. I'm playing"?
I would think he'll play. I mean, look, let's wait and see. Mark Wood might come in. It might be that Wokes comes in for Sam Curran, and they'll just have a, they'll be watching the likes of Ollie Robinson and Jimmy Anderson. They've bowled a lot of overs, and just seeing, making sure that they're fresh. If one of them's not fresh, Mark Wood will come in. If not, I think they'll play. I thought Craig Overton was excellent at Headingley. He'll get another opportunity, you would think. That over-the-top kind of bowler. I personally, I was thinking the other day with the England batting lineup, with Butland missing out. So I just wonder whether England missed a chance in not throwing Liam Livingstone into. He's been in the Test party before. He went to New Zealand a couple of years ago. So they clearly have an eye for him being a Test match player. And with his confidence so high at the minute, I just wonder whether it'd have been worth throwing him in there.
Interesting you say that with the teams being level, because there's also talk maybe of India having a real flair player like Surya Kumar Yadav coming in to bat at 5 and getting a move on. Just one other point to ponder over. In the recent past, India have been at their best when they seem everything is stacked against them. I mean, sometimes I get the impression India play best when they believe the world is against them, which needn't be the case. But they've come back strongly. What they haven't shown is the ability to play when they're front runners, which is what the great teams like the West Indies and Australia did in the past. But now with the need to come and fight back, I'm waiting and see if they do that.
Ravi Shastri and his team, they remind me actually of Jose Mourinho and his teams. Like Jose manages every team. He wants everyone to be against them. The referees, the crowd, the media, everyone against us, and we'll prove you wrong. It's backs to the wall. Ravi and Virat are like the Jose Mourinho style in management. They want everyone to abuse them, everyone to criticise them, everyone to write them off, and they'll prove everyone wrong. It just seems to be that they play better cricket when many write them off, and a few have. A few have written India off from what they did at Headingley. They've got a few answers, I'm sure, this week.
1-1 with 2 to play. Give us a prediction for the over, Michael. As you know, we all love your predictions.
Well, I think England's record there is very good. And India's record there isn't that good. I think England will win this week. I think they'll win. I think the ball might swing around. I think Old Trafford might be a tricky week for England because I think it'll spin a lot more. And I'd be amazed if India don't realise that you're going to need 2 spinners there in September. So I think England will win this week. The only chance I believe India have is bat first and bat a lot better and bat the day out on day one. If you can still be batting at the close of play on day one, and I mean, again, you go back in Test cricket history, that used to be quite easy for teams to do, end day one just still batting, where there seems to be a trend that if the ball just does a little bit, teams seems to be, and it's not just India, it's England, many other teams, Australia, collapse when the ball just swings around a bit. There will be swing, but it'll also be a nice week for players who play the pure way. I look at someone like KL Rahul. I think he'll enjoy batting at the Oval. Rohit Sharma, I think he's going to really enjoy batting at the Oval. So there could be a big score, but they'll have to find the mindset. I just think England have just got a little bit of the bit between the teeth. And Wokes back into the side, he improves the England team in English conditions. Wait and
see. We will, of course, be back with you at the end of every day on Crickbuzz Chatter. So join us for that. Thank you very much for joining us. See you at the end of day one.